Welcome to the Sweetness of Trial podcast and commentary. My name is Chuck Malone, and I am the author of the book, The Sweetness of Trial, a perspective to help you win, not just endure. Available in both paperback and Kindle on the Amazon book platform. Written by Charles P. Malone. Welcome to the Sweetness of Trial book reading and commentary, episode 11, pages 149 to 155. Hi, my name is Chuck Malone, and I am the author of the book, The Sweetness of Trial. Today's episode is the last chapter in the book and is titled Winning Through Trial, the sequel to The Sweetness of Trial, and contains a sample of the 7 winning ways to help you use trial to become mighty. As we refer to these two books in the future, I'm just going to say sweetness and winning, and you'll know which book we're talking about. Winning Through Trial, Winning, was written specifically to take you by the hand and help build within you 7 winning ways to bring out your best self when confronted with trial rather than give in to defeat or surrender. If you enjoyed reading Sweetness, then you are absolutely going to love Winning because of how this book raises your commitment to become. It raises it to a higher level and prepares you for the next opportunity to win through trial. And we'll discuss what the definition of winning is. So let's start on page 149, Winning Through Trial. I have chosen to conclude this book by introducing just a taste of its sequel, Winning Through Trial. Although not yet published, the Lord has placed within my heart words that were anxious to jump from my faithful iPad as my feet carried me safely upon the treadmill at the gym each morning, and ultimately into the willing hearts of my readers. The most impactful deterrent to winning in life is not from lack of talent, but your reaction to trial. Trial produces pain. The natural reaction to pain is to remove it. Most people never experience true success in life because they run from pain. But pain is part of becoming, of winning. When we push through our trial, in effect, we are using pain to raise us to another level of becoming. I chose entrepreneurial real estate as my lifetime profession, beginning in 1971 and continuing even today, 2023. I write these words on my iPad while getting in a few minutes of exercise at the gym, and I ask myself, how does one spend 52 years in the arena of one profession, losing most of everything he had worked for at the end of each decade due to conditions beyond his control, and still wake up every morning with an insatiable appetite to become better? Well, that's the subject of both books, Sweetness and Winning. The short answer, however, is choice and trial. Or, if you prefer, trial and choice. It makes no difference in which order you place them because they are eternally linked together. In my Sweetness book, we explored both of these actions as cause and effect principles intended to test us and provide earthly experiences in preparation for the next. In Winning Through Trial, we explore how to harness these same eternal principles to move us to a new level of becoming and learn to embed them into our hearts as self-help exercises or mindsets to not only endure the next trial, but see opportunity, discover hidden spiritual gifts, and use trial as a catalyst in becoming all that we can be, aka winning. Winning Through Trial includes 7 winning ways to help you use trial to become mighty. Trial is common to all of God's creatures, including you and me, and most often is accompanied by pain and suffering. Sometimes trial strikes because life happens. We are all subject to nature, sickness, injury, disease, and so on. Sometimes trial is brought on through simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it can also be brought on by our agency, the choices we make, good or bad, intentional or otherwise. Yet, learning to make correct choices doesn't always guarantee happily ever after endings, and poor choices are not automatically rewarded with pain and suffering. But let's focus together within the pages of this book on the outcome of choices made after the trial of our faith and learn together to not just endure, but how to win. When trial comes, as it surely will, there will be a choice made in the beginning that will define the reaction we will choose. Will I become bitter or will I become better? There is an account contained in the Holy Scriptures of a man whom God loved and trusted so much that he allowed Satan, the master deceiver, to test the man's integrity through an incomprehensible trial. Of course, you know the man. His name was Job. I could choose no better conclusion for our time together in this book, or a better example to set as a standard for the next one, winning, than to teach a principle often found in our own, yours and mine, winning through trial experience, as reflected in the book of Job and found in the Old Testament of Holy Writ. We learn to end sweetness, that trial is non denominational. It strikes both the righteous and unrighteous of God's children. Yet here was Job, a man who stood blameless before God, about to be stripped of all earthly wealth, family, and possessions because he was so upright and good. When God pits you against the wiles of Satan, you have to know he believes in you. Yet, isn't that what God did with each of us by allowing Satan to try and tempt mankind? God has such faith in his children, you and I, that he removed the chains binding the son of morning and put all his faith forward into the likes of you and me. Winning way number one: when we fall, let's at least fall forward. Wave after wave of Satan's jabs caused Job's world to cave in around him. He loses his flocks and herds and his source of income and lifestyle, and then his sons and daughters. But Job falls forward, and I quote, "Then Job arose and rent his mantle, tore off his robe, and shaved his head, and fell upon the ground and worshipped, and said, Naked I come out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." You can find that in Job 1:20-21. And here's another quote: "In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly." Found in Job 1:22. Well, through all these trials, Job fell forward. He became unshakable in his faith through the process. It may seem rather hard to accept that a loving father would invite trial into the life of one of his children. Yet that is what the Lord did by giving Satan permission to afflict Job. Unless we develop the faith to believe that earth life and its experiences are meant to develop and refine us, it might be hard to understand at first why cancer and other debilitating diseases are allowed to inflict and torment us. But as I look back to that fateful night our daughter sent the text alerting us to a lump in her breast, I can say without hesitation that my daughter and her family are stronger in their faith and their relationship with God because of that trial, no matter the outcome. What did the Lord say to Satan in the second chapter of Job? He said, and I paraphrase, go ahead and torment Job. He will curse thee to thy face. Oh man, can you just imagine that interplay between those two? I hope I am found strong enough to bless God and deny Satan when I am in the eye of the next storm. Whether we become spiritually drained by disappointment, unfulfilled expectations, or our inability to provide financially for our family or loved ones, sometimes things just don't work out. And rather than blaming God, oneself, or others, I pray that we would be as Job and accept our current state of mind as something we have control over and choose to bless the name of the Lord and then move on. The Apostle Paul understood the nature of trial and stated, we are happiest when we have trial in our lives, for then we have the opportunity to prove ourselves as faithful followers and believers. Oh, I love that. 1 Peter 3:14. He counsels us to not be afraid of the terror or trouble that trial brings, for it is in trial that we can taste the sweetness of the atonement, experience the mercy and grace of God, and become all that we are capable of becoming. I promised you a perspective of winning and not just enduring trial. Do you now see that winning in the context of this book is not the accumulation of wealth, fame, position, or even the adoration of friends and acquaintances over a lifetime of earthly experience? It is not even that we have kept our religious beliefs intact without flaw or hesitation when trial came upon us. And God's eternal life and in eternal plan, winning is doing our individual best and rising to stand again. Winning is overcoming the natural man within us, perhaps not to perfection all at once, but over time. And as our prophet, President Nelson, has taught us, winning is striving for perfection, my brothers and sisters. It is doing our individual best. Each time you fall, look upward and fall forward. You will see the hand of God being extended to you. Take hold of it. Feel his warmth against you. Know that he loves you and accepts you for who you are, but also knows whom you can become. In God's plan, each of his children would be born with the light of Christ, as stated in John 1:9, D&C 93 too. In their hearts, this light of Christ was born. This light acts as a beacon to assist in receiving instruction and guidance from a loving Heavenly Father. For many, the circumstances to which they were born would not require the development of this light within them. Perhaps as spirit children in the preexistence, they were already refined sufficiently to require only the acceptance of a mortal body. In any case, when all is revealed, we shall see and understand. But for you and me, we are blessed beyond measure to be given the chance to prove ourselves, to fight the fight and win. We feel the results of trial and sacrifice gradually removing the rough edges of our natural man interior. with the goal of becoming as perfect as our personal best is capable. When our earthly sojourn is over and we are called home to stand before God to account for our time on earth, having given our personal best, it is Jesus Christ who will step forward to make up any deficiency, if we have kept the light of Christ burning in our hearts. So what say ye? Let us become brothers and sisters bound together through our trial of faith, and gain strength, knowing this trial too shall pass. Winning through trial, winning was written specifically to take you by the hand and help build within you 7 winning ways to bring out your best self when confronted with trial, rather than give in to defeat or surrender. Winning will help you realize that planet Earth, your second estate, is meant to be a place of learning, a place where you are tested like steel, capable of withstanding the refiner's fire to bring forth hidden attributes called spiritual gifts and talents given to you to bless your life and the life of others. Here's a quote from Les Brown that I truly love. The richest place on earth is the graveyard, because in the graveyard lie inventions that died with the deceased, that the world was never exposed to, ideas and dreams that never became a reality, hope and aspirations that were never acted upon. Brothers and sisters, may God bless you and keep you. May the sunshine of tomorrow radiate in your heart today, filling it with hope and faith and love. May your life be filled with rainbows, a sign from heaven that the storm has passed, and time to give thanks for having tasted once again the sweetness of trial. My friends and brothers and sisters, I did not write sweetness with the goal of making profit or trying to draw attention to myself. I do believe that it was an inspired moment from God, who took me by the hand from the day I sat at my desk in my home in Gilbert with resource books piled on both sides of my computer, and guided me on what to say that might benefit even the one, just one, who might be struggling with depression or having experienced the loss of job, income, marriage, or a loved one, or loss of health or mobility, or even shamed for making righteous decisions, or turned away by friends who were headed down a path you chose not to take. And the list goes on and on. Because remember, our definition of trial: if it hurts, then it is trial. Remember that? Well, my humble prayer is that at least one of you listeners have benefited from the material shared with you on this podcast, this book reading and commentary. If you feel that you were helped, then please listen again. You will pick up things by the Spirit the second time around that you missed during the first, and there's no charge for this other than your time. If you know someone who might be experiencing trial right now, what a great friend you are to both me and them. If you could send them a link to this podcast, that we might be connected, your friend and I, if only through the sound of my voice. If you would like to order a copy of the book for yourself or for a friend, you know that you can order the Sweetness of Trial book or any other book that I'm privileged to write from Amazon.com, the book section. Search for the book title and then add by Charles P. Malone. Or you could go to facebook.com/, I just write it, and scroll to the post that has the links to all my current and future books and podcasts. And if you're purchasing more than 10 books for a family book club or whatever, let me know before you order them. And if I have enough copies here at the house, I would be happy to save you a few dollars of shipping from Amazon. Plus, I'd be happy to sign each book for you if desired. I do plan to do another podcast on winning through trial, and I hope that you will stay subscribed to Sweetness in case I want to add some more episodes to that. And of course, when you visit my book page on Amazon.com, there is a follow button. This by engaging that, you are following me, and any new books that come up, or episodes for that matter, you will be notified. And there's a place that you could leave a review. Those are important not only to me, but those are important to anyone considering a purchase of the book or a listening of the podcast, to help them get through trial. And if you felt that this has been helpful for you, I hope you'll include that in your review. Well, thank you so much for staying with me through this journey. I warned you at the beginning that it was going to be a raw experience, exposing my weaknesses in dictation and pronunciation more than I wanted. But hey, I'm just a kid from Holbrook, and that should give you hope that whatever your dream is, you can do it. Have a blessed day until we meet again. Resources. Careful attention has been taken to give proper credits when used in the content of this book. Please notify the publisher of any discrepancies you feel may be noteworthy. Many quotes throughout have been taken from addresses from the semi-annual conferences of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, quotes from semi-annual general conferences of the Church, and from other LDS Church leaders, deceased and living, from ensign articles and other publications of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, copyrighted by Intellectual Reserve Inc., and used by permission. Read more addresses given in these conferences by LDS church leaders at https colon two forward slashes 3ws.lds.org /general hyphen conference /conferences. I don't know. Just go to the lds.org and I'm sure you can find them. Many references are taken from the Book of Mormon and the doctrine of covenant and covenants, referred to by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as the D&C. You may request a free copy of the Book of Mormon by logging on to the Church of Jesus Christ.org. And then you can go there and search for your free copy. The book Doctrine and Covenants is a collection of divine revelations and inspired declarations given for the establishment and regulation of the kingdom of God on the earth in the last days. Copy of the D&C may be purchased at any Deseret Book store location or online at deseretbook.com. One last thing about the author. Charles Chuck Patrick Malone was born June 19th, 1944, to parents Woodrow Red and Dorothy Dot Malone, and resided in northern Arizona until he graduated from Holbrook High School and enrolled at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona as a freshman in 1962. He received his BA degree in 1969 after serving a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Eastern Canada and changing universities twice. Chuck received a music scholarship to Northern Arizona University and performed with both the Lumberjack Marching Band and the University a cappella choir. The choir was well known for performing at live radio broadcasts at the Grand Canyon morning, each Easter morning. Upon returning from his church mission, Chuck met and soon married the lovely Linda Faye Johnson in the Mesa, Arizona temple in 1967. They have 5 children, 16 grandchildren, and 1 great granddaughter. Chuck has spent his professional career in the real estate industry and gives credit to his choices in life for providing plenty of personal experiences in trial to fill the pages of this book. His writing career was in hibernation for most of his youth and professional life, noticed only by his English professor at ASU as having promise as a journalist. It took the depth of trial to finally bring out into the open a passion for expressing his inner feelings as directed by the Spirit in written form. A late bloomer, Chuck hopes to use his vast experiences in life to continue his writing and speaking career. He loves to teach principles of truth and encouragement, spiced with humor and enthusiasm, and spent years honing his stand up teaching methods around the country as a paid motivational speaker. Chuck loves to hear from his readers. His writing email is cmijustwriteit@gmail.com. cmijustwriteit@gmail.com. Or you could go to facebook.com/I just write it. And you can check on amazon.com for the latest book written by Charles P. Malone. Thank you. My friends, thank you so much for spending your time with me today in discussing the sweetness of trial. Please join me in future episodes as we learn how to not only endure trial, but to win from it, as we continue our journey through my book, The Sweetness of Trial.